The official start of summer is right around the corner, but of course, in my mind, we're already there. And I feel like this is the time of year where I start to notice some significant swaps that I make in my beauty routine. Whether I'm in search of new heatless hairstyles to try to give my hair a break from my curling iron, or finding really pretty but still simple everyday makeup looks, I feel like summer really is the time where we get to embrace our natural beauty. I always feel so much more confident leaving my house when I feel a little tan, when I've got my sunscreen on, and when I really get to soak in that vitamin D. And I know for that reason, summer is a season that we all really look forward to. And just because I tend to be a little bit more of a pared back version of myself during the summer months, that doesn't mean I'm not still occasionally getting glam or doing makeup and hair for special events. So we will talk about all of that today as well. Consider this your official 2026 Summer Beauty Guide. Today, I'm going to share all of my favorite summer beauty essentials, from everyday makeup to what to pack in your beach bag, and even some hair products that will give you the hair of your dreams. Plus, we all know that I'm not immune to shopping and seeing what's trending. So, I'm also going to walk you through some 2026 beauty trends that I have been reading about from some of my favorite publications, as well as the things that I'm thinking about buying this summer that are currently in my cart. So, maybe you guys can either help me make some decisions or de influence me, depending on if you've tried some of these products. Before we get into the full summer beauty debrief, let's do a little create and consume. As far as what I was creating this week, I had a lot of fun putting together a blog post on my blog, Keep Calm and Chiffon, if you don't know, all about how to style suede for the summer months. Now, one thing about me is I love breaking a fashion rule. So I do not follow or prescribe to no white after Labor Day. I personally think that black and brown go really well together depending on the situation and the shades. Honestly, if you're watching this episode on YouTube today, I'm wearing like a navy dress and I'm sitting in my brown chair. This to me is a great color combination. And for that reason, it makes me realize that there are a lot of pieces that in my head I don't necessarily think of as things that I would want to wear during the summer, but when you get a little creative with the styling and you think about different ways to wear things and how to kind of sprinkle them in, you can actually turn pieces that are seemingly seasonal into pieces that you can wear year round. So I kind of challenged myself to go into my closet and pick out some outfits that featured suede as the fabric, whether that was, a jacket or a purse or a pair of shoes or even a vest. And I made some outfit combinations that felt like perfect summer fits that still incorporated suede, which I feel like people think of as a fall winter fabric. So there's a whole blog post about that. I will leave a link to it in the show notes if you want to go read it and check it out. And yeah, I just love that the blog is a place to really deep dive on some of those niche specific questions where it's like, can I wear suede during the summer months? Guess who has over 1,000 words to say about that? Apparently me. So that is something that I was working on. And then for what I'm consuming this week, I just finished The Five-Star Weekend by Ellen Hildebrand. Oh my God, you guys, I absolutely loved this book. The Five-Star Weekend was a five-star read for me. So I think I mentioned this already, but I am going on a trip to Nantucket. So in preparation for that, I wanted to get another Ellen novel under my belt. So far I have read Winter Street, The Perfect Couple, Swan Song. I think those are the three that I'd read so far. And then The Five-Star Weekend was my fourth Ellen book. And I'm super excited because my mom and I are planning to do the Ellen Hildebrand book tour when we're in Nantucket. So it's actually run by her sister, and we're going to get taken around to spots that are mentioned in her novels, which I think is so cool. That's such like a me and my mom activity. So I really can't wait for that. And The Five-Star Weekend is essentially about a woman named Hollis who grew up on Nantucket and ended up moving to a suburb in Massachusetts. She met and married, this doctor, and they had a daughter together. And in her 50s, she launches a very popular food blog. So it's kind of this unexpected like career pivot for her. Her daughter is studying at school in New York. And then one winter morning, though, she gets a very unsettling visit from a police officer who informs her that her husband was in a car accident and he passed away. And this inspires her to basically host a weekend at her home in Nantucket, which she has, since renovated. And it sounds like if Ina Garten had built a home in Nantucket, like picture that vibe with the kitchen and everything. She basically invites her best friends from all different stages of her life to spend the weekend at her home in Nantucket. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I will leave it there. Hopefully, that was enough of a little plot summary to pique your interest. And if you need more book recommendations, I am in a few weeks going to be doing my mid-year reading updates episode. So I'll tell you a lot more about what I've been reading so far this year and what else I'm looking forward to in 2026. So make sure that you are subscribed to the podcast, whether you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening on Apple or Spotify. Be sure to follow along so that you'll see when new episodes drop, which is every Thursday. And don't forget to let me know what you guys are creating and consuming too. With that said, let's dive into talking about summer beauty. And I love putting this episode together every year because I feel like there are a few mainstay products that I continue to recommend year after year. But there are also obviously some new favorites and also new trends each season to consider when figuring out what the summer beauty routine is going to look like. And obviously, you don't necessarily need to follow trends. I kind of just like knowing what they are so that I can stay in the loop on things and kind of catch things as they are actually happening. And by the way, summer trends does not mean that you need to go out and do every single one of these things. I personally find them fun if you feel like you've been stuck with makeup, or if you've been wanting to change up your hair, or you're just looking for something new to try. I feel like trends in beauty are a lot more low stakes and easy to experiment with than trends in fashion because the price point is usually lower. If there is something trending in beauty, you could probably find a product in the drugstore just to like give it a whirl and see what you think about it. Versus, even fast fashion has gotten so expensive these days, which is crazy. With that said, here are a couple of trends. And if you are newer to the podcast, the way that I typically source these is either from publications like Who, What, Wear, Birdie, Glamour, Allure, publications that really kind of specialize in beauty and often interview experts to see what they are seeing and what kind of requests those people are getting, like makeup artists and hairstylists from their clients, and also Substacks and other independent sources that I personally read and love. So this is kind of a combination of all of those things. I've done the work ideally so that you can just listen to this list and you don't have to go to all of those various sources. The first summer beauty trend is frosted lips. You heard that correctly. Not to be confused with frosted tips, which in my mind is always just Joshua Jackson in Dawson's Creek asking Dawson if he thinks that he should frost his tips, as in just like highlight the top of his hair. Frosted lips is a little different. It is giving that really glossy and shimmery overlay with your top coat of your lip combo. So think about really shimmery, almost icy looking lip glosses. I think this is fun because in my head, this is almost more of a winter trend, but I love the idea of layering this with a lot of warmer, summery tones personally. I have a Lancome Juicy Tubes that's like a shimmery lip gloss that I feel like I would try as the top coat for this. And then Milk Makeup also makes a lip gloss. I want to say it's called Odyssey or something. I will try to find a link for it and any products that I mentioned, by the way, and drop them in the show notes so you guys can check them out. But I feel like those really shimmery, kind of iridescent shades layered on top of your lipstick is what the vibe is here. Okay, another one is baby blue eyeshadow. If butter yellow was the color of summer 2025, I think that baby blue is the color of summer 2026. I have just been seeing it everywhere, both across fashion and beauty too. And I love the idea of just a light sweep of a baby blue eyeshadow. You could even use a shimmer stick in that shade. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Or you could use a typical powder eyeshadow. I think that this is just really fun and unexpected. I feel like it would look extra gorgeous if you have blue or green eyes. I have brown eyes. I still would be willing to try it depending on my outfit and the vibe, but I feel like this is a little bit of the Zara Larson effect. And that was another trend that I saw was candy colors. So almost taking the pastels from spring and like bringing them into summer. And it's a little bit more sophisticated than maybe the Y2K makeup that you're thinking of, or at least that I'm personally thinking of right now, like that Britney Spears would wear and like that other celebrities would wear on the red carpet. it's a little bit more of the sophisticated version of that. And in my head, I feel like that means leaning more into the matte tones of those shades. But I think that the shimmer could be so pretty as well, especially if you have any like concerts, music festivals, fun occasions like that. I think it's just such a refreshing take to see because we typically, or at least I feel like I typically tend to stick with my mattes, stick with my browns and my neutrals. So I feel like that's a fun way to mix things up a little bit. Okay, another one is body shimmer. And I think the timing for this is perfect because I feel I'm not someone who self tans really. I do have some self tanning drops that sometimes I mix in with a moisturizer if I just want my face to have a little bit more color to it. But I don't get spray tans. I don't do any self tanner on my body at home. And I feel like with the kind of natural tan that I tend to develop in the summer, paired with like a body shimmer, I'm still going to feel really glowy and more like the summer version of myself without having to go through the whole spray tan process, which I kind of just find to be a big time commitment that I'm not necessarily willing to do. Honestly, it's kind of similar to what we talked about in last week's episode about how to figure out what a good use of your time and money is. So for me, I just know that I'm not someone who has the patience for the self tanning process, but I feel like the right little body oil or shimmer moment could really just like elevate my confidence and make me feel really pretty and sparkly and glowy. Okay, I've also been seeing a lot of this kind of lived in smoky eye. I actually think that Rihanna's Met Gala makeup is a good example of this. I filmed a whole recreation of that. I can link it in the show notes if you guys want to see that over on Instagram. And it's a little messy, which I think is great because it means that if you're a beginner, you can have it be a little messy and it will still fit in with this trend because it doesn't have to be 100% perfect. It's kind of giving 2016, honestly, too, which I'm here for. I personally feel like this next trend has been a thing for a while now, but I did just want to mention it, which is high blush placement. I feel like, especially during the summer months, it feels very lifting and it feels very fresh to have your blush placed. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm kind of showing like right on top of your cheekbone as it kind of goes up even into your hairline a little bit. And then another thing I like to do during the summer is take a little bit of blush and dust it like across my nose where I would actually be getting sun. And I do hope to be getting sun. Obviously, I will be wearing, though, all my sunscreen and baseball caps and sunglasses and things like that, just as a little bit of a natural, built in, lived in flush. And then on the hair front, the kind of biggest trend that I saw across the board, across all of the outlets that I was looking into, was this soft fringe revival. So PC layers near the front, not necessarily like blunt cut, but really nice, like soft layers to the hair that make it feel very laid back and relaxed. And like you can actually really see the texture in your hair too, which we love. We love enhancing our natural texture. Those are your summer 2026 beauty trends. And then for the rest of the products that I want to talk about and the recommendations, I have them sectioned out basically by occasion. So I wanted to start with my everyday makeup essentials that are the ones that I'm reaching for in my everyday life during the summer months. Before we even talk about makeup, though, it is important to talk about skin prep. So for me, skin prep means when I sit down to do my makeup at my vanity, I already have sometime before then when I woke up done my very basic morning skincare routine, which is an eye cream, a serum, and a moisturizer. So when I sit down at the vanity, in theory, some time has passed since I've done that, and I want to create a very dewy and glowy base for my skin so that when I'm applying makeup on top of it, it's going on top of really hydrated skin and I'm not just kind of applying dry because I find, especially in the summer, that's one of the quickest ways to have my makeup get patchy throughout the day or have it looking not as fresh as I would want it to. So a couple of products that I've been loving lately for glowy skin prep before applying makeup. One is the Rhode Glazing Milk. I really do like this. I kind of bought it and I bought the mini version because whenever I'm not sure about a product, I buy the mini version first so that at least if I don't like it, I can kind of test out something else. I've really been enjoying this one. I was even thinking about repurchasing when I run out of it, although I have a product later on when I get to what I'm thinking about buying for summer that maybe some of you guys have tried that I have heard is very similar to that. And I've just been loving having that as something that goes on my face before I apply my base product. It feels like more than a regular serum, but less than a moisturizer. It really is that kind of Goldilocks middle ground. And then I have also been loving my tinted dewdrops from the brand Glow Recipe. And Caitlin has raved to me about these before, so I already knew I was really going to like them when I first got them in PR, which thank you, Glow Recipe, for sending me PR. I appreciate that so much. And what I've actually been doing is combining the glow drops with a moisturizer. So typically I'll pick one of these two lanes. Either if I'm doing like a lighter everyday kind of face, I probably will go for the Rhode Glazing Milk as my skin prep. If I'm going to be doing a little bit more of a heavier look, I actually did this combination today. I would use the Glow Recipe Dewdrops and a moisturizer. The moisturizer that I have on my vanity right now is also from Glow Recipe, but I feel like you can mix in the dewdrops with pretty much any moisturizer or even your foundation, and it just provides this extra really nice warm glow to the skin. And again, in my head, summer is all about embracing your natural skin. So once I have my skin prep done for just every day, I am either reaching for one of these two products. I'm either reaching for the Milk Makeup Skin Tint. I've sung the praises of that many times on this podcast, and I'm already on my second bottle of it. I literally reach for it all the time. And then the other product that I wanted to mention that I've been loving lately is the It Cosmetics Do It All Balm. So depending on what type of product you want on your face, I like the balm because I feel like it's so easy to layer. So it literally comes in a little tub, and I just use my BK Beauty brush, tap it on top, and then I can gently tap the product into my skin all over my face. I love that a little bit goes a long way. I feel like It Cosmetics always crushes it with the base products, and I have just really been loving it. And then for the Milk Makeup Skin Tint, usually I will apply it directly to my skin, and then I might use the brush to kind of stipple it out over my face, but I do like going back over it with a damp beauty sponge just to give that extra kind of glowy look. And I would say the same for the It Cosmetics Do It All Balm as well, if you have that extra time. If not, honestly, applying with the brush is totally fine. I was thinking a lot about the concept of melt into your skin concealers because I don't want anything heavy or cakey on my face during the summer months. So two that I really like, one is a stick concealer. It's from Merit, and I just find that one so easy to apply. It truly melts into the skin. So I apply it with the little stick, and then I use a brush to kind of stipple it in. The other one that I love, obviously, is the Tower 28 Serum Concealer. I feel like I talk about this all the time on this podcast. It has serum in the name. I really never see it crease on me, and this is just a concealer that I will recommend time and time again. Next up is cream blushes. I feel like cream face products are where it's at in the summer months. I just love them so much. And the two cream blushes that I've been really liking lately are both little sticks. So one of them is the CoverGirl True Blend blushes. I literally have like 6 shades of this, and I was sent them in PR, but I would also spend my own money on them, truly. They are like either $10 or $11 at the drugstore. They blend beautifully, and I feel like they're very foolproof to apply. I just put a little dot on my cheeks, and then I use a damp brush. I spray it with a little setting spray and use that to blend it into my skin. It's so easy. I love layering them up. I have actually been really liking pairing those blushes layered on top those blushes, and then on top of that, layering on the Tower 28 Get Set blushes. And I really recommend this if you want more of a matte look to your makeup, or if your skin tends to be a little bit more oily / greasy in the summer months, because the Get Set blushes are formulated from the Tower 28 Get Set setting powder. It has the same texture, and the founder created these blushes based on wanting to see if her setting powder could hold color, and it could. And it's actually kind of freaky how the shades line up with Tower 28 and the CoverGirl blushes. Like, you'll see if you look at them together, there are blushes that look like the exact same colors. So if you want to apply the cream blushes and then layer the powder on top, I personally have been loving doing that. Today I'm just wearing the CoverGirl blush. I did not layer the extra Tower 28 matte blush on top of it, but I have been doing that a lot lately and really liking how it looks. And then the other cream blush that I've been loving lately is the one from Nude Sticks. That's kind of their flagship product and what they're known for. I have the color Cherry Blossom, I think, and I just feel like it's the same idea as the CoverGirl one. It goes on super easy. It looks so pretty, and I've just been really enjoying applying it. And that one actually comes with a brush on the other side of the stick. The CoverGirl ones don't, but I just use my regular blush brush and it goes very well. When it comes to cream bronzers, got a couple of recommendations to keep you glowing all summer long. One of my favorites is the Fenty Beauty Cheeks Out Bronzer. I know I mentioned that one in my Holy Grail Beauty Products episode, which if you didn't listen to that episode, I can link it in the show notes if you want to chat more beauty after you listen to this. It's just one of my tried and true like Holy Grail products, and I'm obsessed with it. I do also have 2 drugstore options though. So if you are on a bit more of a budget or you want to try cream bronzer and you've never tried it before, I would maybe grab one of these before grabbing the Fenty just so you can see what the products are like and if you like it. So one of the drugstore favorites that I wanted to recommend is the Milani Cheek Kiss bronzer. And this was a recommendation from Shelby Ann, who I follow on TikTok. I will leave Shelby Ann's TikTok linked in the show notes as well if you want to go check her out. She does mainly drugstore makeup tutorials, and she talks about how to get the most out of your drugstore products too. So I think you'll find it really helpful, especially if sometimes you apply makeup and you're like, why doesn't this look quite right? I feel like she explains the techniques and applications really well. So I do recommend her. And then the other bronzer that I do suggest from the drugstore is the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer. This one literally lasts for so long. I'm still working through my very first pan of it, and I think I've had it for at least a couple months now, so I like that one as well. And then one thing about me is I love a juicy, glossy lip in the summer months, so I wrote down some of the juiciest ones that I've tried lately. One of which is, I think, new from Urban Decay. It's either a new product or they just released some new shades, and that is their product called Lip Toy. Really pretty, almost like a top layer lip stain. So it's pretty pigmented and it'll apply on really nicely. Another tried and true favorites are the CoverGirl Yummy Glosses. They make these in just regular glossy finishes or also some sparkly ones too. So you can kind of pick and choose based on what you find yourself wearing most often. And then today I am actually wearing this as my like top coat of my lip combo, which is the Summer Fridays lip oils. Every shade of these is gorgeous and amazing. I am literally on my last one I was gifted for last summer, and I just have been using them like in succession. So now I'm down to the end, and I would honestly repurchase with my own money. They are not sticky at all. They are gorgeous, just a little light layer wash of color on top. They would also look gorgeous completely on their own, not layered in a lip combo. So I really recommend. Okay, so we chatted everyday beauty essentials, and I also wanted to share some recommendations for like soft glam makeup if you have any special occasions coming up this summer. I just had a wedding a couple of weeks ago in Ocracoke, and I have another wedding in New Jersey this summer. Also a bridal shower for that wedding. Also just, date nights, fun occasions, girls' night out where you want a little bit more glam. Here are some other things that I would add into the rotation for summer beauty. Okay, so for slightly fuller coverage foundation and then concealer, I am actually wearing the foundation today, which is the Haus Labs foundation. This is one of the internet's favorite foundations. I know that everyone already knows about it and loves it. Today, I put it on just because I have a long day. I am batch recording for the podcast today, and then I am actually going to the Yankees game with Andrew tonight. So since this makeup went on my face at 7 a.m. and it needs to last through like 9 p.m., that's where I went for a more full coverage today, also because I'm filming. And then if you need a more full coverage concealer for summer, I do still recommend the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eyes Concealer. I honestly would not use it for under eyes, though. I feel like it can be a little bit on the heavy side and can have a higher risk of creasing. I don't know why they called it that, because I don't think that's right, actually. But for any blemishes or spots, a tiny little bit of this will go a long way and really help neutralize any redness and smooth out any bumps from breakouts. So if you have acne prone skin, I would look into that one. Again, a tiny little tube of it will last you forever because you really don't need that much product when you use it. And for me, Summer Soft Glam also involves some shimmer products. I love leaning into the shimmers during the summer months, like I was already talking about with the body shimmer trend. And when it comes to soft glam, I love the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize. It's a little pot cream eyeshadow. I personally have the shade Pillow Talk. I literally wore this at my wedding. I think it goes on so pretty. There are so many different shades of it to choose from. Great for special occasions. And then I do also love the Rare Beauty Soft Pinch blush, the powder blushes, and I have the shade Cheer. I get so many compliments whenever I wear this one. I'm not wearing it today, but it's this really beautiful, super shimmery blush. And one thing I will say is it does reveal texture. So if you are trying to make your skin look more smooth, if you have bumps and things like that, maybe that's not the one to wear. But if you don't care and you also just want to wear the shimmery blush, I do love that one. I just wanted to mention because I feel like the shimmer can spotlight your texture more, whereas a more mattifying blush like the Tower 28 ones will help kind of create that like airbrushed effect over your skin. For liquid eyeliner, honestly, the Rare Beauty liquid eyeliner is like the only one that really hasn't dried up on me. And I think I'm going to repurchase the black and even get the brown too, because I do love brown eyeliner. I just have a hard time applying it. I'm wearing one right now that I'm not really loving, so I'm not going to recommend, but I feel like the Rare Beauty one has not let me down. And then for locking in makeup, again, like I said today, I have basically a 12-hour day that I need this makeup to last for. So as soon as I was done applying it this morning, I locked it all in with one of my favorite setting sprays. So today I used the L'Oreal Infallible setting spray. Absolutely love. It comes in like the big red can. You can get it from the drugstore. And a very, very similar one that I also really like is the One Size setting spray. I think it's called On Till Dawn. That's Patrick Starr's brand. They are very similar formulas. The L'Oreal one is obviously your drugstore option, will be a little bit cheaper. The One Size one, also, though, like every single wedding that I've been to, essentially, when the makeup artist is done, like if I'm in the bridal party, I mean, when the makeup artist is done, they are whipping out that One Size setting spray and it's locking all in. So those are the two that I would recommend if you're doing any makeup for special occasions. Okay, let's move on and talk beach bag essentials. Now, I'm the first to admit that not a big beach girl, didn't really grow up in a going to the Jersey Shore beach kind of family, but I'm feeling a little inspired this summer because we did just do our road trip down to the Outer Banks to go to Ocracoke. The beach there was really pretty. And then I also am hoping to pop by the beach in Nantucket. I do hope to go down the shore at some point this summer. I have a cousin who lives down there. So I do foresee some beach days in my future. And even if not beach days, laying out by the waterfront here in Hoboken, that's like my makeshift beach. So I figured I would make this part of the episode too, especially if any of you have beach trips planned, or maybe you spend like a week or a month at the beach every summer. Let me know actually if you are in a beach family and which beaches you like to go to. Okay, first things first, we gotta protect the skin. This is our one body that we have, and it's very important that we take care of it as much as we possibly can. One of the easiest ways to do that in the summer is to wear sunscreen. I have had this drilled into my head by my mom. I am always the one who's drilling it into my friends and family, probably driving people nuts. But wearing sunscreen every single day is so important. So, specifically, even for the beach, and what I would recommend in terms of the sunscreens that work best for me are to, first of all, separate out face and body sunscreen. So for face sunscreens, some of the ones that I love are the Innisfree Daily Defense UV sunscreen. That one is, I know, a favorite among beauty creators too, specifically because it wears really well under makeup and there is no white cast. So I definitely also recommend that one for my friends who have like a deeper skin tone than I do, because sometimes it's hard for me personally to get a sense of no white cast. So I like to try to go and look up on TikTok, see other people using the product to confirm that, like, okay, there are creators with more melanated skin than me who actually have confirmed that this does not have white cast. Another one that I love is the Supergoop Glow Screen. I actually haven't owned this formula in a couple of years because I have so many other sunscreens that I'm currently working my way through and testing right now. And I don't feel the need to go, buy sunscreen when I literally have so much here. But I really do love that one. I think about that one all the time. And what's nice about that one, the tinted one too, is that you could literally wear it in place even of a skin tint or something on a light makeup day. And it really does just help give you that kind of once over glowy base, which I feel like is amazing. I want to say also that I'm not that big of a fan of the mattifying Supergoop sunscreen. But again, if you have more oily skin, I personally have more dry skin, you might love that one. I just feel like there's something about the texture that I don't like. And then also the Ulta MD sunscreens. I have tried both the tinted and the untinted, and I love them too. So definitely recommend those. Truly, my only gripe with those, and I kind of feel like this is the universal case for all face sunscreens, so I don't really have a good solution to it, is that you get just a tiny amount of product, which is obviously annoying. But on the body sunscreen route, honestly, I love the Paula's Choice one. I have repurchased it from Amazon so many times. It comes in the purple tube. It's the non-greasy sunscreen. I have never once burned from using this, and to me, it is worth every penny. And then honestly, my other body sunscreen recommendation is literally just Banana Boat from the drugstore. I think for me as a beauty creator, I tend to get a little lost in the sauce sometimes and just think of prestige brands when I'm looking for even something as simple as sunscreen. And it doesn't always need to be that overly complicated. Obviously, if you need to look into, if you're allergic to chemical sunscreens and just want a mineral sunscreen, that's one thing. But Banana Boat from the drugstore has also never failed me. So that is one that I have purchased many times and will purchase many times more in the future. I was also thinking what I would throw in my beach bag if, we were going straight from the beach out to dinner somewhere, even if it's a casual dinner. I always feel a little better when I do just like the slightest touch-ups to my face. So some things that I would bring with me for like post beach, heading out straight somewhere after that, are the Milk Makeup Kush Brow Gel. I personally have the clear one, but they also come in tinted shades as well. So if you want to like have your whole brow just like done in one swipe, I do love those. I would also grab the Versed lip liners. I have two colors of them, and I feel like they both smudge and blend so easily. So it just makes me feel a little bit more put together when I have that on hand. Also, the Tarte Maracuja Lip Balm. I feel like that is the perfect middle ground of like a lipstick and a lip gloss. So I feel like you can save yourself one step if you usually do a 3-part lip combo of like a liner, a lipstick, and a gloss. Honestly, just with the liner and this lip balm, I would feel good to go, ready to boogie after a day at the beach. And then I would also say the Kosas Cloud Set setting powder, just on the off chance that, again, maybe you're a little bit greasy or more oily than normal. This will kind of just help neutralize that. And you don't have to like reapply foundation or anything, but it does come slightly tinted. I have the shade Breezy, but you could pick a tint of that powder that works for your skin tone. Also, I love the Dove Whole Body Deo Spray. I actually did a partnership with them on TikTok, I think last January when this first launched. It is a full body deodorant, and I just love that after a beach. Again, if you don't have time to shower before you're going somewhere, you just kind of have yourself covered. And what I love about this is it goes on clear, and you can even spray it over clothes. So if you're just going to like a beachside restaurant where it's totally cool to just throw on your cover up over your swimsuit, just a full spray of this and you'll be good to go. And then the last beach bag essential I wanted to mention is the Mega Babe Thigh Stick. Basically like a deodorant for your thighs. So if you don't have a thigh gap like me and like a lot of women, this is just helpful to prevent chafing. So I definitely recommend that. That is always something that I am remembering to put on, especially when wearing like denim shorts or coming back from the beach. Next category, we're moving on to skincare. And I just wanted to talk about a couple of the small skincare swaps that I make for summer. Wow, that was a big tongue twister. That was so many S sounds back to back. Whenever possible, I try to keep my skincare routine as consistent across the board as I can, just because I find that my skin does best when I am in a consistent routine and I kind of stick to my core products. But when the temperatures are rising and when my skin is a lot more dry than normal, a couple of things that I intentionally switch out in my routine include my serums. So I would say that I tend to use retinol and serums like that a lot more during the winter months. I would only really use them like twice a week as is, but when it comes to summer skincare, I am much more so prioritizing serums that add moisture back into my skin and can help me repair my skin barrier. So the two ingredients that I prioritize for summer serums are hyaluronic acid and niacinamide. In all honesty, I have a bunch on deck that I want to test, so I don't feel like I have a recommendation that I've used recently, but if I go back in like the archive of all the products I've ever tried, I do love the SkinCeuticals one. It's pretty expensive, but I really felt like I noticed a difference with my skin. Obviously, there are plenty of drugstore options on these fronts as well, but those are the two ingredients that I feel like my skin really, really needs during the summer months that I make a conscious effort to try to like swap into my routine. And then I also will typically get a lighter moisturizer. In general, with my dry skin, it can handle like a thicker, creamy moisturizer, but I just find that when you're already, sweating, when your skin is producing more sweat than it normally does in the summer months, having a bit of a lighter texture to the moisturizer can just help prevent clogged pores and can help your skin breathe easy. So I love like the Curel Intense Hydration Moisturizer, I think it's called. Been using that one a lot. And anything kind of in the middle ground that's almost more of like a gel cream hybrid. I probably wouldn't use a full gel moisturizer because I still think that my skin needs that heavier texture. But something like the Laneige Water Bank Moisturizer would be something I would use during the summer months. And I'd save probably some of the heavier formulas for when the temperatures drop again. And then I also love a cold eye patch from the fridge or ice roller moment in the mornings. I did do my under eye patches today. I did some from Florence by Mills, and I don't know if it's helping or not. I actually was up for an hour in the middle of the night. I don't know why. I woke up at like 3:30 and then I had a hard time falling back to sleep. So hopefully I'm looking still bright-eyed and bushy-tailed today. I guess I'll see when I edit this back. But those are my summer skincare swaps. And then as far as hair goes, because again, I feel like summer is the time to try heatless styles, let your natural texture be what it is, and to just really chill on the hair front. I think that summer is so much about relaxing and unplugging and taking a step back. And I think that the same goes and translates for obviously the makeup, as I talked about, and our hair too. So when it comes to products that help enhance your texture, I personally love the Davines. This is a texturizing spray. And also the Orbe, is it called Gold Rush, Gold Lust, Gold Lux? I'm going to put all of the products, like I said, in the show notes. I just wrote Orbe texturizing spray, but I can't remember the specific product name right now. I also love spraying those where if I, were to sleep in braids or even just take my curling iron and put a couple of waves in loosely, not actually curl my whole head of hair. I love the texturizing spray and the effect that it gives to my hair after I do that because it really just feels lived in. It feels messy. It feels cool girl. It feels perfectly summery. So that's one side of the spectrum. And then on the other side of the spectrum, another go-to summer hairstyle for me, I feel like, is the slick back or the sleek ponytail. So if you're watching on YouTube, I've got a sleek ponytail in action today right now. And for me, some of my slick back essentials to actually get all the pieces in place and make sure things stay put is number one, to brush my hair with a boar bristle brush. The one that I have from Amazon actually has some plastic bristles. Why is that word so hard to say? And then some soft boar bristles. So I like that one because I feel like it really helps smooth my hair into place. And I secured this ponytail with my Goody hair elastic. I love them because you can get them in any color. So I have the dark brown, but they also come in like black, blonde, et cetera, et cetera. And then as far as really smoothing over the top and keeping the hairs in place, I will either use the Day hairstyling wand, which if you haven't seen it, it's essentially like a big mascara wand that you can use to kind of just tame the little flyaways. Or if you want a true slick back where you're like, this can't budge today, I do love the Tiggy Bedhead wax stick for that. it can take a little bit of extra time to rinse that out. So just keep that in mind. I would plan on like a double shampoo after you use the wax hair stick, but it will help keep things perfectly in place. And then, as far as adding shine and gorgeous shimmer to your summer hair, I love the Color Wow Extra Mystical Shine Spray and the Davines This Is a Shimmering Mist. Both of them just make your hair look Disney princess vibes, which we love. Okay, and to wrap up, a couple of products that are on my summer shopping list that I've been thinking about getting. Number one is the Thayer's Milky Toner. I was mentioning earlier that I obviously got the Road Glazing Milk. I've heard that the Thayer's Milky Toner is kind of similar, so I was thinking about maybe getting it. If you guys have tried it though, and if you've tried the Road one especially, please reach out and let me know what you think. I'm super curious. Okay, also, I can't stop thinking about the Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes new eyeshadow palette that he came out with. I do already have the Master Mattes palette, and it definitely covers every shade of brown, but I loved that in the Ethereal Eyes one, it also came with some shimmer shades. I feel like I see myself using it a lot, and considering I like never buy eyeshadow palettes, I feel like I could allow myself that one indulgence, so I am thinking about getting it. Also, I've been seeing these lip balms everywhere. They're by a brand called Edeam. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Eadeam. They're the peptide lip balms. They look super luscious and juicy too, and I feel like they would be the perfect addition to the summer makeup bag. And then lastly, from the brand Rail, which makes my favorite clay mask and also one of my favorite cleansers, they have these new hydrogel sheet masks that look really cool. I believe they come in two pieces, so you can kind of like fit the bottom piece and then the top piece. I don't know if they're that different from the Neutrogena ones that I tried, but I'm definitely intrigued. And if I'm already getting these other couple of things, this might just sneak its way into my cart. But if you've tried any of these things and you love them, or if you've tried them and you think they're not worth the hype, please reach out and let a girl know. I may also just go rogue and place an order before this episode goes live. So I'll have to keep you guys posted on that. But I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. I am so excited for the official start of summer. Although I think the official start of summer is really Memorial Day. So in my head, we're here already. We are in June. The sun is shining. Things are happening. Plans are being made. Barbecues are in the works. Beach days are on the calendar. And I couldn't be happier. So I hope you all are having a great week. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll talk to you all again next week.